So you're coming in out of the rain or the cold, and you just want to hang up your jacket. You open up the closet door, and what happens? The stupid bifold door falls right off the track. Well, let's take a look at why this happens and what we could do to fix it. Many of the bifold systems out there work and operate the same way. There'll be a track on the top of the door frame, and there'll be a plastic guide wheel which will allow the door to open and shut following the track. Typically what happens is that many of these systems come with a wood dowel or plastic dowel that you can also plug inside of the hole. What we want to do is make sure that rather than using that dowel, we're going to be using the plastic wheel. In my case, I happen to have a dowel up there, and while it does work, it keeps the door on the track. It's not a good system. The preferred system is to have this plastic wheel. If you have an old plastic wheel, this could also contribute to the door falling off the track. Typically, these things do get wear and tear, and they'll eventually start to wear to the point that they don't stay inside of the track anymore. So in either situation, what we're going to have to do is take the door and pull out the old dowel or the old wheel and insert a new one.
So the next thing I'm going to do is replace the dowel that's on top of the bifold door with one of these guide rollers. Guide rollers are really cheap. You can get them for about $3 at Home Depot or Lowe's. The advantages to using these is that A, it's got that round shape on the top which will fit nicely inside of the track, but it's also got that spring at the bottom, so this actually provides upward tension onto the door rail itself and will help keep the door in place. Very, very handy to have. As there's no bottom mount mechanism to this bifold door, we really want to do as much as we possibly can to keep the door on the track itself, and this will certainly help with that. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and okay, so I'm going to take the inside screw and adjust this. This is actually going to loosen the tension inside the track, and so this pivot point is going to loosen up and I'll be able to slide the door. Once I do this, the objective is to go ahead on the other side and push the roller inside of the track. Okay, so this side's good and loose. And I'm going to take this side, and this is going to be just pushed down so it can go inside of the track. Now, the challenge now is getting back to this side and pushing it back as far as I can without it scraping this edge of the door frame, and then tightening it back up. Alright, closing the bifold as much as I can to give me some space. And I'm going to go ahead and screw this back in. Okay, let's see how she works. The next challenge will be to just close the door and make sure it stays closed. See how it popped out a little bit like that? Let's do some adjustments. So the trick to fixing the gap issue is just to make sure that the alignment from the top of the door to the bottom of the door is correct. So one thing you can do is go to the top and just readjust the screw as we were talking about earlier. The other option I could do is actually go to the bottom here, literally pick up the door. So the weight of the door is laying down on that bottom pivot point. You can actually just take this door, stick your hand underneath it and push it upwards, right? And that's actually going to take the weight off of this pivot point. It just simply sits inside of grooved notches on this bottom point. So all you're doing is you're picking up that pivot dowel that's down there, and you're just going to move it up and then into a new set of grooves that are on that bracket, right? So either way you could do it. Because I can visually see that the gap up here was just slightly larger, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the top pivot point instead. But you have both options available to you. Okay, that's it. Seems to fit perfectly now, so I hope you guys found this informative.